the hot mic. Careful now.
Thank you for participating today. We are now joined by Avery Anderson, and we'll begin the press conference. Use the raise hand function to indicate you would like to ask a question. When you are called on for your question, please state your name and affiliation first. Our first question is from Jacob Unruh from the Oklahoman.
Avery, man, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good. I got a couple questions. First, when Cade is struggling like that, you really kind of become a really good scorer the last few weeks. How much did you put on yourself in those situations?
I feel like I don't put as much pressure on myself. I just go out there, like I say every time I interview, I just go out there and do what I need to do for my team to win games. And at that point, my team had needed some scoring. And so luckily, I have good teammates. They saw I got it going early, and they just kept feeding me the ball. So that's why.
Your defense today was really good. What did you guys do so well defensively, you feel like?
I feel like we executed the defensive game plan, limit their threes because they're a great three-point shooting team. They shoot it at a high clip too. So I feel like Coach was saying we got to contest all 40 threes that they shoot. And even if they don't shoot 40, just contest every three. And we did that to the best of our ability, and we got out and run.
And last one from me. What do you attribute the offensive struggles to overall? I know Cade struggled too, but it seemed like the offense struggled to get in rhythm for a long time against Liberty's defense.
I would just say it's just I felt like we got everything we wanted. I guess the shots just wasn't falling. Like Cade, in the first half, his shots wasn't falling, but as you saw throughout the game, they started falling, and that was big time. MA got it going, Ice got it going, so it's just shots wasn't falling for us, but we got it going throughout the game.
Thanks, Avery.
Yes, sir.
Reminder for everybody, please use the raise hand function to indicate you would like to ask a question, and put your name and affiliation in there. Our next question will be from Alex Burr, NCAA.com.
Yeah, so Avery, first of all, congratulations on the win.
Thank you, sir.
And so you had 3 steals and 1 block, as the last reporter was asking you about the defense. What does that feel like when you make that additional defensive impact on top of the defensive game plan you guys have?
Oh, it's big time. That means I'm doing my job. That means I'm doing my job, just being active on the defensive end so I can help my team get out and run. And that's getting hands on loose balls and making high jumping plays and getting the blocks.
Our next question is from Jenny Carlson at the Oklahoman.
You guys, obviously, this was a team effort. I mean, as you're talking about whether it's defense or offense, it's different guys doing different things. Cade was talking the other day about the trust factor on this team. How much does that come into play on a day like this?
Very, very big, because, if somebody doesn't got it going, you got to be able to trust the other teammate. And this game, they trusted me to score the ball for us, and I love that about my team. And even if I didn't have it going, I knew we was going to find somebody to get it going. We trust each other, and that's a big thing in a team. That's a big thing to have in a team is trust, and we got it done.
You guys are still such a relatively, young team, a lot of, first and second year guys. Was there a time when you saw that trust factor go up with this team? To enable a game like today to happen?
Yeah, of course, especially on the defensive end. Like, say if I had got clipped on a dude foot, I knew my teammate was going to recover to get to my man and have a high hand for a 3-ball. And that's just working with each other a lot and having trust, like you said.
Thanks, Avery.
You're welcome.
Our next question is from Kellen King at the Insider Institute.
Hey, Avery, as you said, it may not have been the prettiest of wins, but how good does it feel just after the game, especially knowing this season you might not have been able to play in the tournament, but now you're here and you won this first game. Can you just walk me through how it felt when the buzzer sounded and you had finally won?
Yeah, it feels good to win, but we got a lot more in store, so I'm just ready to play the next game already, and it's also a blessing that we get to play in this tournament because, like you said at the beginning, it wasn't guaranteed, and they let us in, and we just got to make the most of it.
Thanks. Congrats on the win.
Thank you, sir.
Our next question is from Barry Trammell.
Yeah, Avery, this is OSU's first NCAA tournament win since '09, which you guys weren't paying any attention in '09. But for guys that were around a lot, mainly Isaac, he went through that awful season of 2 years ago when they ran out of players and all that. How good do you feel for him? How good do you feel for him and for him to play in his first NCAA tournament game and win, and for him to play so well?
Yeah, that's my guy, and I'm just so happy to see him do what he do on the court and play through all these injuries that he's having and being a good teammate throughout the years that I've been here, and just also seeing the team win. I saw when the season when they had took all them losses, but it's just good to get in the new team and work.
Well, how concerned were you guys when you couldn't put Liberty away? I mean, they stuck with you. They led at halftime, for crying out loud, and you really couldn't put them away until the last 45 seconds.
They're a good team. Liberty's a good team, so we knew they was going to make a run at some point, but we just had to keep doing what we was doing, having high hands on the three ball and getting out in transition and stay together, keep communicating with each other.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Our next question is from John Title at hoopshd.com.
Hey Avery, John Title from Hoops HD. Each of your past 7 wins has been against an NCAA tournament team. Each of them has been by single digits. So my first question, considering you guys have so many freshmen and sophomores, how are you able to win close games time after time after time?
We practice situations in practice. Like, we play a 4-minute game, and so say it'll be a 4-minute game, and we'll be up 5. While white team will be up 5, or white team will be down 5. So we do this all the time in practice, and that's why we're so prepared to finish out a game.
And second question, 15 years ago, you were evacuating New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina. Did you think that this day would ever happen?
To be honest, I did not. You know, if it wasn't for Hurricane Katrina, I probably wouldn't even be here right now. I'd probably still be in New Orleans somewhere, and y'all probably wouldn't even know me. So I'm blessed that it happened, but I'm not blessed because, I mean, my family's still down there, and they kind of in the hole, but it's all good.
Our next question is from Danny Thompson at the 3-Point Conversion. Sorry, I think we've got audio problems with Danny. Our next question is from Frank Bonner.
Hear me, Avery?
Yes, Frank, go ahead.
Hey, Avery. Question you guys have been in all season. This is nothing new for you guys. Was there but it's never been with the season on the line. Was there a different urgency for you guys down the stretch, knowing that, you know, if it's a bad outcome, it's over with?
Of course. I mean, coming into the game, we had that sense of urgency because it's win or go home, and so we kept that in mind the whole game and fought to the end, and that's what we did.
And then for you, you've had a really strong year, especially towards the end of the year. Being able to do what you were able to do for the offense when it was struggling, how big is that for you, this moment you were able to do this on this big stage?
It brings my confidence level higher, just knowing I could perform at a high level on the big stage and just trying to stay consistent in my play and keep working on my game and just trying to get wins in this tournament, this big tournament.
I appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Avery, for your time, and best of luck in the next round.
Thank you, sir. Thank y'all.
We'll be joined momentarily by Coach Mike Boynton. Please use this time to raise or lower your hand as necessary.
on Steve.
We'll begin with an opening statement from Coach Mike Boynton and then go to questions. Use the raise hand function to indicate you would like to ask a question. When you are called on for your question, please state your name and affiliation first. Coach, please give us a brief opening statement and then we'll go to questions.
First, congratulations to Liberty on a great season. Got a lot of respect for Coach McKay and his program and what they've been able to do the last several years. I think they're only rivaled by Gonzaga in the number of wins in the last 3 years, in the 70s somewhere. So we had a hard-fought game, and we knew that. But really happy for our kids that we fought and scrapped and clawed. None of our guys had been in this moment before, and for them to figure out a way to have success against a really good team was pretty special. Also, congratulations to Coach Paul Mills and the Oral Roberts Eagles from the good state of Oklahoma on their win today.
Thank you. Our first question is from Jacob Unruh at the Oklahoman.
Hey, Mike, congrats. You got a lot of contributions all over the place today. It took a lot of work and different. You mentioned young guys. Do you think there were jitters? Do you think there were just some things that had to work out being in that environment?
Oh, there's no question about it in my mind. This is the biggest and best sporting event in any sport. I mean, this is the biggest. This is the biggest stage you can be on. And most of these guys have never been on a stage like this. And I certainly know that they were excited to play, but we made some boneheaded mistakes, and we were playing against a really good team. And so, I didn't expect to win by 20, no matter what the seed lines looked like in here. But it was a hard-fought game, and I'm glad our defense carried us at the end of the day.
I know you're a Yankees fan. Is Cade your Mariano Rivera?
That's high. That's high praise now. I'm going to give him more like Derek Jeter. He's really good late, but I'm not sure he's quite Mariano Rivera. If he gets me a few more wins, he can get that crown.
That's fair. And last one from me about Avery. You've talked a lot about him and how improved he is. Are you shocked at all that he comes to this situation and still thrives?
Not at all. In fact, Avery was really, really disappointed and really hurt that he didn't play better in our conference tournament championship game. Took that one really hard. And, at the end of the day, what happened with him was he just ran out of gas. We had Cade and Ice out for a couple of games there late, and that guy was carrying us in many situations. And so, I'm not surprised that with a few days to get his mind right and to get some rest that he came out and played the way he did today.
Thanks, Mike.
Our next question is from Alex Burr at NCAA.com.
Hey, Coach. You guys were Liberty came in as the third best scoring defense in the nation. How did you guys game plan to combat that? And did you attribute that to some of the beginning of the game woes?
Yeah, I actually thought we got off to a pretty good start, and it was our defense that was leading us. But, yeah, you're playing against really good teams. There are no bad teams in this event. And obviously we played a team that's used to winning and has a great identity that they play to all the time. So it took a little bit for our guys to get adjusted to it, but I thought we made the proper adjustments to start the second half at trying to just will ourselves to the basket and get ourselves to the free throw line, and it ended up playing big dividends for us.
Our next question is from Jenny Carlson from the Oklahoman.
Hey, Mike, I wanted to ask you about trust. As you look at whether it's offense or defense today, it was different guys at different times. When did you sense this team starting to really trust each other?
I got a date for you. It's February 10th. We got back from Lawrence, Kansas. Probably one of our worst games, to be perfectly honest, in our approach. We actually didn't play poorly. We just didn't play the game the right way. And we had a meeting on February 10th that the guys kind of made a decision that no matter what, how it ended the last few weeks of the season, that we were going to play the way we've been trained to play and the way that, they were recruited to play. And since that, I think you've seen a different team. And that's been pretty consistent. Everybody's been willing to sacrifice the things necessary for us to have the success. And so here we are, a month later, continuing to play an NCAA tournament.
Did you think a meeting where guys said we're going to do that would end with that kind of dividend? Were the guys close? Did you sense it? Or is that a little bit surprising that those guys could say, hey, we're going to do this, and then they went out and did it?
No, because I challenged them after that meeting. I think our next game after that was against K-State. And I told them, guys, it's great that we had this meeting on Wednesday and everybody said that they're going to do X, Y, Z. But the only thing that really matters is what we do when we take the court. And to their credit, we haven't always played great. But for the most part, everybody's been brought in, whether they're playing a lot, playing a little, scoring, not scoring, having a guard. And I think you see that in the results. Today, Caleb Boone didn't play a whole lot, even though he started both halves. Bernie has been playing more. This was a different game for him. And so I think they're really committed, that they said they were going to do something and they meant it, and they are holding each other accountable to that.
Thanks, Mike.
No problem.
Our next question is from Barry Trammell.
Yeah, Mike, first off, what did you do well tonight and what did you not do well when just from what you saw out on the court?
I thought we defended at a really, really high level. I thought our rotations, our ability to kind of disrupt their rhythm offensively, specifically Darius Mcgee, who's a tremendous scorer, certainly capable of scoring 30 points easily. Making him inefficient was a big key today. And I thought in the second half particularly, I thought we rebounded the ball really well. I still think we're a little careless with the ball. We didn't shoot the ball well, but that's not something that I really worry about as much because sometimes that happens. You're not going to shoot the ball well. It's the first experience for these guys here, and I feel like we have guys taking the right shots. But at the free throw line, we got to convert better as well.
And second of all, when you see Cade obviously struggle, offensively a good chunk of the game, how much does it help to know a guy like Avery is capable of, sort of, not for the whole game, but for 10 or 12 minutes, he sort of put your offense on his back and made the first half not a disaster? What kind of a relief is it to have a secondary guy like that?
That's huge. It's why you recruit depth. It's why you recruit really talented guys. And it's why I keep saying that. I understand the narrative. I get why. But it's not totally true. Like, Cade's really good. He's going to be a terrific NBA player. Well, we have a lot of really good college basketball players. And Avery Anderson is at the top of that list. At some point, I would hope that people would just accept that he's a good player and not just assume that he's, like, pulling this stuff out of his butt because he's been doing it pretty consistently here for the last month or so.
Our next question is from Kellen King from the Insider Institute.
Hey, Coach, how good does it feel to know that you can still win a game like this, despite maybe not going totally according to plan with Cade only having around 10 points and you not shooting well from three?
Oh, it's huge. In this tournament, you got to find a way to win no matter what. The alternative is the season is over. And so in our minds, no matter how the game is going, we have to make adjustments. Cade obviously got in some foul trouble early. That kept him, a little out of rhythm to start the second half. But having Avery, having Matthew Alexander-Moncrief step up and play as aggressive as he was, having Rondell Walker get to the offensive glass for 2 huge plays. And then what carried us was our defense. A lot's been said about Liberty's defense, and it's really, really good, one of the best in the country. But I think tonight we showed that we can win the game on the defensive end if that's what's necessary as well.
Our next question is from Gary Graves.
Coach, just to kind of follow up on some of the questions about your play, I guess, was it one of those things where you just felt like, if others could step up, that would kind of make it easy for Cade to kind of get comfortable and find his game as he did in the second half?
Yeah, I don't really worry about Cade. I think everybody else worries about him a lot more than I do. First of all, I've known the kid since he was 14. I know how he's wired, and I know that he wants to play to win. And if that means he's got to score 10 points and get other guys involved and allow other guys like Avery Anderson or Matthew Alexander or Ice kind of carry the load offensively, he's comfortable with that. That's what's given us a chance to have a really successful season. He hasn't been so self-absorbed that just because he isn't scoring that he's not completely engaged. He has some big defensive plays for us in the second half, and it's the reason why he's special. He's not one-dimensional, and the most important thing to him is that his team gets a chance to play again on Sunday.
Our next question is from Danny Thompson from the three-point conversion. Our next question is from Matthew Cyanidi from TSN.
Coach, to that point about Matthew Alexander-Moncrief, when you look at his stat line, 1 rebound away from a double-double, block, a steal, how much is your trust is elevated with a young kid like that when he comes in and alongside Avery can provide when obviously Cade isn't able to score?
Yeah, I believe in.
Any lingering effects from his fall too?
I don't know. I haven't gotten a report on that. I wish I could, but I just don't have information that happened here late. But I've got a ton of confidence. We recruited these kids believing that they could help us have success in this event. And it's not just Cade. It's guys like Matthew who really believe in himself, who came here because he felt like he could impact winning. And the truth is, the reason he played well is because he had an unbelievable week of practice since we got here. And so, we always talk about the work winning. And the work certainly was on full display for Matthew today by his effort.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Coach. Best of luck in the next round.
Thank you.
That's it for this post-game news conference. A transcript of the coach's interview will be provided by ASAP Sports and posted along with the recording of this press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at www.ncaa.veritone.com. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for participating today. We will now begin with an opening statement from Coach Richie McKay and then go to questions. Please use the raise your hand function to indicate you would like to ask a question. When you're called upon for your question, please state your name and affiliation first. Coach, please give us a brief opening statement and then we will go to questions.
Congratulations to Oklahoma State. That's a really good basketball team with a special player, and they did a great job of making it really hard for us. But really proud of our group, the way they represent our program, our university, and tonight just wasn't quite our night. Questions?
We'll go to Damian Swordlett. Please unmute yourself and announce your publication.
Hey, Richie, Damian Sordelet with the News in Advance. Season high in turnovers today, 18 of them, and there was a point there in the second half where, as you guys were trying to claw back into it, miscue after miscue allowed Oklahoma State to build that lead back up. How pivotal was that, and the way they were able to speed you guys up, force some turnovers, and capitalize with some points?
It was the difference in the game. They, that's uncharacteristic. We averaged 9 turnovers a year. We led the nation in fewest turnovers last year. The game was extremely physical, and you can just look at those two stats, the turnovers and how many free throw attempts they had. I think we're like the 15th fewest fouling team in the country, but they really just put their head down and they drove it, and they initiated where they were the aggressor, and we obviously got in foul trouble, had to rest Darius and Kyle a little bit, and took us out of rhythm when on most nights we do a pretty good job of staying out of foul trouble. Tonight wasn't one of them.
Coach, coming into this game, a lot of attention was on Cunningham. Can you talk a little bit about your approach to trying to slow him down tonight?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Justin Whitaker.
Hey, Justin.
NCAA, sorry.
No problem. Yeah, I mean, he's a great player, so I'm not sure how much you're going to control him. Our defense is our defense. We didn't do anything differently than in our preparation for him than we would anyone in our league or anyone else we played. That's just our defense. And he got in foul trouble in the first half, which made him a little less aggressive. But if you haven't noticed, in the second half, he's a takeover type player. So we anticipated that, and he got to the line. He saw it go in a little bit and made a big three there, and led them to victory, which he's done a multitude of times this season.
Damian, we'll go to you next.
Richie, and what was probably the swan song for Elijah Cuffey? Can you speak to how well he played on both the offensive end and the defensive end, and trying to will this team to keep its season alive?
Yeah, Dame, you've seen nearly every game we played. Elijah Cuffey's so special. On the court, we can talk about his accomplishments and his career-leading win total. We can talk about his defensive prowess. But what I love about him is his person. He's really become an exceptional leader. Our team wouldn't be where we are programmatically without the selfless investment that Elijah has made. And we're going to miss him. I'm going to miss coaching him. But at the same time, I'm so happy for him that he had a career that was worthy of remembrance.
Coach, Justin Whitaker, NCAA here. Can you talk a little bit about what this week has been like in the bubble as leading up to this game?
Yeah, it's just been, Justin, it's been terrific just to have the opportunity to play. A lot of sacrifices around the country by student athletes, athletic department staffs, medical personnel, and the NCAA's organization of this controlled environment has been spectacular. I think Dan Gavitt, his staff, the tournament selection committee, Mitch Barmenhart, the chair, I think they should all be praised for their intentionality to make this student-athlete experience while still protecting them special. And we were privileged to be a part. Sad we're not moving on and advancing, but it was an honor to be a part of the NCAA tournament.
Damian, we'll go to you next.
Sorry, Richie, I have a two-parter here. First, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. First, two-parter. There's not many nights where Darius and Chris both shoot as poorly as they did. What did you see in Oklahoma State's defense in forcing them into taking more contested shots? And then secondly, what does an experience like this do for a team that returns all but 2 players who are in the rotation this year?
I think they were incredibly physical with those 2 guys. Obviously, they're smaller guards. Their length, athleticism, and physicality bothered them. And whereas we are usually a very patient team offensively, we sped up. And the credit goes to Oklahoma State, and I'll take the blame for the lack of execution. It's hard to simulate in practice what they're doing. We hadn't played in 13 days and haven't played a team like that since probably Missouri. But our league prepared us well to get here, and I thought we did a better job in the first half of our shot selection and taking care of the ball. But as far as next year, Dame, it's a little too soon on the turn. But I love our program. I love the direction that it's going. These are young men that we as coaches are really privileged to be a part of their lives. They're special, and I know a lot of coaches use those words, but for me, they're not just words out of my mouth or words on a screen or words on a paper or on the computer that you'll read. These young men, they're inspirational in the way they really try and make someone else's life better. They've really invested in being a part of something that's bigger than themselves.
Next question will go to Travis. Travis, please announce your name and affiliation, please. And then go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey, Coach. Travis Wells, WDBJ. Just to kind of elaborate on that, when you look back at this year, as crazy as it was, given everything that happened, in what was supposed to be kind of a quote-unquote rebuilding year, given what you lost, can you just put in perspective what this particular group accomplished, knowing that this group won't play together again as it was?
I think what they accomplished is just a culture enhancement that started years ago. Guys invested in trying to be a program that is a championship caliber program. So again, it stings right now, but for the group to win however many games that we won and do it in a fashion that was reflective of great representation, I'm pleased. Again, I'm blessed to be a part of this family. But that being said, we're going to go back to work once we give them some time off and see if we can't continue to elevate our basketball program, because we've got some foundational pieces that I think makes our future bright.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach McKay, for your time today. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
We'll be joined momentarily by Darius Mcgee. Please use this time to raise or lower your hand as necessary if you have any questions for Darius upcoming. Darius, thank you for joining us. We'll first go to Damian.
Darius, it looked like those guys were much more physical with you and Chris. And how big was that in terms of their big bodies being able to contest a lot of what you guys were able to do and really keep you guys out of a rhythm that you guys seemed to build in the first half?
I think they did a good job of keeping us from executing what we wanted to do, and that caused a little disruption, forced the shot clock to drop a little bit later. So I think hats off to them for disrupting our offense today.
Darius, in a game like this, turnovers seem to be a key factor. You guys had a season high 18 turnovers. How big was that in terms of the ability in the second half to, instead of being able to chip away at the deficit and get good looks, that you guys weren't getting any looks at the ball and they were able to take it down and get some transition baskets?
Turnovers is huge. I mean, it lowers your chance of winning a game because you don't get a shot. So you turn the ball over, it equals 0 on the offensive end, and then it gives them numbers in the other end. And we like to set our defense and make teams play against a set defense, so it's hard for us to do that when we turn the ball over.
Darius, Justin Whitaker, NCAA. Can you describe a little bit what this week has been like being in the bubble and getting prepared to play today?
I think the bubble, it was fantastic in my opinion. I didn't have a complaint about it at all, and it was good to have that bonding session with my teammates in the hotel. Even though we only interacted really in the team room, it was still just a good time when we was in there laughing, joking, watching whatever. And I think that's just a testament of what our team is like. I think this loss, it hurts a little bit more knowing that we won't have that in a game setting anymore, but I'll love those guys forever, and I'm always riding with them.
Next question goes to Damian.
Darius, when you look back on this week and this experience, what's this going to do for the team moving forward when you guys resume basketball activities? When you see you're only losing 2 key pieces out of the rotation, and you got a lot of guys who got a lot of experience this year that can build on that going into next year.
I think when guys take a little time off and they come back, I think they'll come in confident, and I think they'll really put in the work. We got a group of hard workers, so I know they'll really push themselves to make themselves even more better and prepare us for next season. And like you said, the young guys got a lot of experience, so that's good. I'm excited to see what Drake has in store next year. Jonathan, Isaiah, Micaiah, I think they're great players, so I'm excited.
Darius, thank you for joining us. Oh, sorry, we had a question pop in here. John, please go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hey, Darius. John Neckerstop here with Liberty Champion. Obviously, Cade Cunningham, you guys shut him down a lot in the first half, but in the second half, he had the points when it counted. Can you talk a little bit about him and the importance that he has for that team?
I think he's a great player. He's a player who's poised throughout the stretch of the games. Like, he never looks uncomfortable or out of whack, and I think he got to all the shots that he wanted to get, even though in the first half he said he was shut down. I think Cuff did a great job of contesting shots and forcing him to miss, but in the second half, even though the shots were contested, he made them when they counted. And he got to the line towards the end of the game and made the big free throw, so that definitely helped him.
Darius, thank you for your time.
Appreciate you guys.
That concludes this evening's post-game news conference. A transcript of the coach's interview will be provided by ASAP Sports and posted along with the recording of this press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at ncaabaritone.com. Thank you for joining us.